said, "Bailiff, take him away." True story. Just as the bailiff was taking the man away, LaGuardia walked out from around behind the bench, set his robe off as a judge. He walked up to the bailiff, pulled $10 out of his own pocket, and he paid the man's fine. Then he walked up back around behind the bench, and he sued the courtroom $50 for living in a town where a man had to steal bread to feed his family. Collection of $47.50, and the man walked out of the courtroom free, pardoned, with $97.
Amen.
You say what was that? It was unforeseen grace.
Amen.
Unforeseen grace. It was unmerited grace. It was just pure grace. I can see that fella come home with an armful of groceries and about $80 in his pocket, and his wife says, "What is that?" He said, "It's unforeseen grace." It's unforeseen grace. The judge gave it to me. The judge pardoned me. I tell you, I'm in Graceland with unforeseen grace.
Amen.
But when we were yet without strength, in due time, Christ died for you. Can I say there's not only unforeseen grace, but there is unfathomed grace. The word unfathomed simply means a depth that cannot be searched out. It means something deeper than you can get to the bottom of. The songwriter wrote it right when he said, "Wonderful and matchless grace of Jesus. Deeper than the mighty rolling sea.
Amen.
And the mountains sparkling like a fountain. All sufficient grace for even me." My dad is a pilot. He flies and he does aerobatics. And Dad hooked up with a man about 10 years ago. He was a captain of a Trident submarine. Before they stopped doing the VIP rides on those submarines, he got Daddy a ride, a 3-day shakedown tour, as they went out to shake the boat down before they go out for a long jump on one of those submarines with nuclear warheads that are on board. The captain got to telling Daddy some interesting facts about submarining. And they even have, he said, the bottom floor of the ocean is mapped out. They have caverns and there's valleys and crevices down in the bottom, miles deep in that ocean. And they got them so mapped out they can get down in them and they can go the course of those valleys and crevices. But he said there are some places in the ocean that are so deep, that are so limitless, that we've never explored them. As a matter of fact, he said, Mr. Zorn, they're so deep that if we took this Trident submarine down in those depths, it would be such a force of pressure that it would literally cause the submarine to implode upon itself because of all the greatness of the pressure of what the water would do to it. Can I say tonight, that's Graceland. You say, what are you talking about? Well, I've experienced a little bit of it, and I've read some books, got a little bit of it mapped out, but can I tell you, every time I think we've got to the end of it, I find out it's deeper than I've ever been.
Amen.
It's good for every mind, and it's good for every trial. But Jason, I'll never forget that night, about 2 years ago, you was preaching at our home church on the subject of grace. It got so real, it got so glorious. I was sitting on the front row, and God took a young preacher and plunged him down deep in grace. I literally sat there with tears running down my face, heaving uncontrollably, thinking about the grace of God. I had to tell God audibly, Lord, you're going to have to slack up. I feel like I'm about to explode. You say, what was it? It was deep grace. It was unfinding grace. How can I say? There's plenty of grace. You say, I could use a little bit of grace. You sure there's enough? Oh, my. Oh, my. See, I'm going through something. I could use a little grace. Well, he might have got to the end of grace before I ever got to it. I could use a little bit of grace. What is that? That's just unfathomed grace. It's just unfathomed grace. It's deeper than you'll ever get to the bottom of. It's Graceland. I'm living in Graceland tonight.
Amen.
Well, I keep coming back to the well of grace. Great is its power, sweet is its taste. Whenever temptations and trials I face, I keep coming back to the well. There's always enough.
Amen.
There's no unforeseen grace and unfathomed grace. But can I say this? There is unfailing grace.
Amen.
His grace has never failed me. I have failed it. I have abused it. But it has never failed me. And can I just take a time out real quick? Brother Hoffman, you're almost by necessity. You got to say something like this because somebody will leave out and they say, well, you preach that grace mighty good. Everybody just walk out and live however they want to live. And they'll just go on and do however they want to do. And there's just enough grace to go around. That's just the way it is. No, can I tell you, friend, if you ever got into Graceland, you know there's a little policeman that runs around in this place of grace. Look at here, you wouldn't want to do a despite to the spirit of this place. You won't want to sin against the laws of this place. You love it too much. And every time you foul up, you run to the Lord and say, God, I'm sorry. I'm sinned against this place.
Amen.
Years ago, back in the early 1900s, Georgia Tech and UCLA was playing each other for the Rose Bowl, I believe it was. And I believe it was for UCLA. There was a player on the team named Roy Riegels. Riegels played on defense. And Georgia Tech had the ball and was driving and they fumbled, and Riegels saw his chance to be a star. Riegels reached down and grabbed the ball. All of a sudden, he made out like everything going to score him a defensive touchdown. They went the one problem, he's running the wrong way. Riegels run almost 60 some odd yards before his own teammate tackled him on the 1 yard line. Riegels got up dejected, embarrassed, disgusted at himself. When their own offense came out on the field, stuck on their own 1 yard line, they didn't get anywhere. They had to punt. The punt was blocked. It turned into a safety, and they went in at halftime down by several points. Riegels thought, my career is over. As the team filed into the dressing room for halftime dejected, the whole team sat there in silence. The coach came in and really didn't know what to say either. He had never seen anything like that. Riegels sat in the corner with a towel draped over his head. The coach finally got up with about a few minutes before halftime and he said, all right, guys, the team that started the game will be the same exact team that finishes the game. The team jumped up and started walking out, all except Riegels. Riegels still sat in the corner with the towel draped over his head. The coach stopped and looked at him and said, Riegels, did you hear me? Riegels, did you hear me? Said he walked over there, and when he got to that big young fella, he put his hand on his shoulder. Riegels looked up and tears fell down that young man's cheeks. He said, Coach, I can't go back out there. I've ruined your name in college football. They'll laugh at us if I go back out there and take the field. I can never go back out there again. I've shamed myself and I've shamed you and the entire team. The coach looked at Riegels and said this, son, we started this thing together and we're going to finish this thing together.
Amen.
They said Roy Riegels took the field, Brother Mike, and played like a man possessed in the second half. Made tackle after tackle, and play after play, and ended up being the MVP of the ball game.